Coming down, Daddy.
Hello, 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 Facebook and YouTube. How are you guys doing? Wait, it's not even... Let me see, guys. Hold on. Ooh. Let's see if that's good. If I back up some, if I come too close, then my head goes out. But yeah, I see the star comment pin, so we may be good right there. All right, guys. So tonight we are having chili cheese tater tot casserole. Okay? I've never had to put this one up. I don't know what the problem is. But I have to stand way back. But let me see. Then you can't see my pan. Okay, well. All right, so chili cheese tater tot casserole. The oven is now preheated. It's done preheating to 450. That's what the bag says for the tater tots. I got them in a 9x13 casserole dish, and they're in there. That says 20 to 24 minutes. So I'm going to check them at 20 minutes. They should be done. I got the super crispy ones. You can get super crispy, just regular crispy. You can get the mini tater tots or just the regular. I think they have one that's not crispy. So 4 different ones. It's going to go back in at the end for about, with other stuff in it, for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes for the cheese to melt. So, 20 minutes should be okay because it's going to go back in there anyways. So I'll put my stove on. It's got 15 minutes for the tater tots. Let's put my stove on 8. I'm going to smash up the ground beef. He said 1 to 2 pounds. 1 to 1.5 pounds, depending how many people you're feeding. Now, I put 2 pounds in because that's how I have it separated. When I separate ground beef, I always forget to look at the recipe to make sure to see what it says. But even if I put 1 to 1.5 pounds, it's still going in the same size casserole. It just will be spread thinner. 2 pounds, it will spread a little thicker, and I like it spread a little thicker. My icy, it has melted, but still good. So, a little bit of onions. I'm not going to put that many because we don't like a whole lot. Okay. That's enough. That's plenty. Okay. So, it's going to start cooking. And just get, 1 regular bag of tater tots, not the huge. Well, if you got a huge bag, tater tots, you can just fill the bottom of the casserole dish or put in as many as you want. Okay? So for the seasonings, we will be using salt and pepper, cumin, ground cumin, chili powder, or whatever you like. But he's doing, so I'm going to do chili. I think he said a teaspoon of it. I don't know. Just sprinkle it on. Then he says, then we're going to do, it's by the guy named Russ Lee. If you look him up on Facebook, oh, he's amazing. I like the way he says it. When he brings out the cheese, he says, you knew it was coming. Oh, yes, you did. But you just didn't know when. That's what he says. And the face he makes when the food tastes so good. All right, Worcestershire sauce. Just put some on. He said, don't put too much, but don't put too little. Okay? And there's going to be a can of tomato sauce. And then once you got everything in there, fill the can of tomato sauce up with water and dump it in there. Now I'm going to check to see if it's enough because he said 1 to 1.5 pounds. And I'm using 2 pounds, so I'm going to see if this sauce, 1 can is enough. If it's not, I'll just pull out another can. I have a second can. Okay? Now, if I only have 3 little cans of tomato sauce, and I'm using 2 of them for a recipe, or 2 of them for 2 different recipes, let's say I have 1 can of sauce left, right? So I'm going to buy 2 or 3 more because I like to have 4 cans of everything, right? But let's say I'm going to use 2 of them for a recipe or 2 recipes. That would leave me with 1 or 2 cans. So then I would buy extra so I could have at least 4 left, in case something comes up. Because I've done something where I needed something, but it wasn't on my list. But it's something I usually keep in the cupboard. But I was like, I'm not going to use it this time, so I don't have to really buy it this time. Or I'll have it, but I'm using them for another recipe. So the one that I want to use it for that wasn't planned, I can't use it for that because it was planned for something else. So having it backed up, So usually what I keep in the cupboard, I like to keep tomato sauce, and I do keep about 3 or 4 little ones, or maybe 3, or even just 2, because I get 1 or 2 cans, big cans, just in case. So, yeah. Then I keep diced tomatoes. I've been getting the petite diced just because I like it better. Well, it don't taste any different. It's just a little worse. So I've been getting the petite diced. But you can get the regular, whatever you want. But, and then I keep corn, black beans, rotel. So diced tomatoes, tomato sauce, tomato paste. Since the can is like so tiny, I only keep 1 or 2 cans of it. Like I said, black beans, corn, rotel. And I always keep soy sauce in the house and like Worcestershire sauce that I'm going to use. It's down here. You can, let me do it with this hand. It's down here. It's right here. All right, so that's how much is left. So either this next week when it's payday, or the 2 weeks after that, I'll buy another bottle of Worcestershire sauce. We'll see how much is left after I use it today. Because you never know. Because I found a recipe. It was like stuffed peppers, but it's southwestern stuffed peppers. So it was a little different. Put corn in there, black beans, which I've mixed ground beef with corn and black beans and all that stuff for a dip, for a meal to scoop up with tortillas. But anyways, black beans, corn, and some other stuff. And he stuffed it in the peppers. Everything was cooked and put it in the oven for a little while. Topped it with sliced cheese like mozzarella or some other cheese. But I would just sprinkle cheese on top. But anyways, my point is, when I looked at it, I was like, if I needed to make this recipe, all I would have to do is go to the store and buy however many peppers I want to have, which would probably be 4, just in case me and my husband want 2. It would be 4 of them. And that's it. I had everything else. You put a little bit of rice in there, ground beef, some diced peppers, which I have diced peppers, and all the other stuff, whatever it was that's in there, I have. All I would need is just the whole peppers to stuff. That's it. So, sometimes there's recipes, and I'm going to write that recipe down for the next shopping time, because next week is 2 chickens. Monday and Thursday will be chicken, because I accidentally wrote 2 chickens in a row instead of a ground beef. So, but it's okay. And so then the following week on the Monday, I'll do the stuffed peppers. But next week, Monday, I have a crock pot recipe done, but I'm going to switch it with Thursday's meal so I can do the crock pot on Thursday. So I don't have to be like trying to do my live video at 8 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So I can, do it around 12, maybe 1 or 2, depending. Okay, so I'm going to switch those two around. And then the following Monday, I'll be doing the stuffed peppers. But like in about on June 13th, which is a Friday, let me see. Yeah, it's the Friday in between our pay week. It starts the new like every 6 months they go over some stuff because he had to go to work last night just for an hour just to sign these things to see if he wanted to change locations or positions or all this different stuff. Did you choose the days off yourself or they told you? They did? All right, they told him. So he's going to be off on Sundays and Mondays. Sundays and Mondays. So Mondays I will keep as cooking. Except on Mondays I will be able to do like the 5:30, 6 o'clock, whatever, like I'm doing now. On Mondays. So if I want to do crock pots, it's better to do them on Mondays. And then I might go back to Fridays. I might do Mondays and Fridays, or I might stick with Thursdays. I'll think about it. I'm not sure yet, but I know I'll keep Mondays. It'll just be a different time I cook. I'll cook it evening like I do on Thursdays now. So it will be either Mondays and Thursdays, or Friday, or Mondays and Friday. I don't know yet. Because really, I don't do anything on Sundays anyhow. I mean, I don't do any lives or anything, so I just post some stuff on Facebook, but that's it. And same with Saturdays. So Saturday and Sundays are free anyways. So that'll be 2 days in between Friday and Monday. But if I do Monday and Thursday, it's 2 days in between there as well. Tuesday and Wednesday. But today it was only 1 day in between because I cooked on Tuesday because I couldn't do it Monday. So this week. But that happens sometimes. Every once in a while, if something really, like if I'm doing Fridays, okay, if I choose to do Fridays and something comes up, like I'm going out somewhere or I'll be busy, because if I do Fridays, even if I do Thursdays, if I'm not available like around 2 or 3, then I have to cancel because that's the time I have to cook because my husband won't have Thursdays off anymore. So if I do Fridays and something comes up, then sometimes I'll say, I'll cook on Saturday. That's the only time I go live on Saturdays to cook is when, like, I can't cook on Friday if my days are scheduled Friday like they used to be. If y'all remember, I was cooking on, I think it was Tuesdays and Thursdays. Then it became, Tuesdays and Fridays. Then it became Monday and Thursday. Now it will stay Monday and Thursday or go to Monday and Friday, depending what I decide. But I got some time to think about it. But it will stay Monday. Because I don't usually cook on the weekend. So if he has off Sunday and Monday, of course I wouldn't do Sundays anyway. But the only thing that will change about Mondays is I'll cook around this time instead of in the morning. I mean, in the early afternoon. Okay. So now we're going to put the seasoning on. I should have already done it, but I was talking. All right, salt. Some people, I've been told, well, not me directly, but yes, I've been told directly, yes, I was, that I should put the seasoning on after I drain it because most of the seasoning will go into the grease and then it won't taste like you think because it all went out with the grease, so I don't know. There's a lot of grease in here because I think this is the 80-20. I use 80-20 because when I got a 5-pound of ground beef from Walmart where I had to shop, they didn't have like 93-10 or 90-10 or something like that in the 5-pound rolls. So I really like the 90-10. I don't want it like real high, like 97.3. I don't want like almost no grease, but I don't want it swimming in grease either. So to get the 90-10, I'd have to get it from Sam's. Sam's has a 10-pound roll, but it's 40 some bucks. But it's probably cheaper than buying two rolls. The 80-20 5-pound roll at Walmart is like 20, so it would be about the same price if I bought a 90-10 in. All right. There's just about 30 seconds left on here. Then I'm going to take out the tater tots, okay? So let me look at this.
You knew it was coming. Salt, taste, a little bit of chili powder, whatever your taste buds like.
Whatever your taste buds like.
Taste cumin ground. Get that in there. There we go. As much as you want of that cumin. I go with a few dabs of the Worcestershire sauce. Right, here we go. See it on up. Good stuff. Get a little bit of that up in there. Not too much, not too much. Take that same 8 ounce. Get some water in there. 8 ounces of water, no dishes that way. Put that in there, and then we're going to go ahead and put this back on the heat, get this stirred around. It's the consistency that you desire. Alright, so I got the consistency I want. Right? You don't want too thick, but you don't want it to be too thick, right? That's something that up to you. Right? So go ahead and get that all in the 9x13 like you see.
So we're definitely going to see if this one can is enough since I doubled the ground beef. Well, doubled it or almost because you said 1 to 1.5 pounds. Okay? Let's see. Anybody on YouTube? Nobody. Anybody come on? Hi, Shannon. Okay, that's good. If you have unlimited data, then it'll just use your data instead of the internet if it's not working. But how has your day been, Shannon? How was your day been? Hi, Donna.
Now that was super easy.
Right, because, you know, the stuff that I mentioned earlier in the video, if you heard it about the corn, black beans, tomato sauce, diced tomatoes, Rotel, tomato sauce, tomato paste, and stuff like that, I keep on hand at all times. And Worcestershire sauce, and all these seasonings I got. When I run out, I replenish them. So, yeah. And my favorite Walmart has not been having. I like to buy Libby's because they're pretty cheap. I love Libby's and their sweet corn. The Monty's or whatever the other corn is doesn't say sweet corn, but so they've been not having Libby's anymore. I don't know if they're going to ever get it back, but it's been a long time. So I use the Walmart brand corn. It tastes good and it says sweet corn. I like to buy sweet corn. I always stock up. Always. So how has your day been going, Donna? How has it been going?
Right, all it takes right there, right, and then we're gonna go with some of the chopped up onions.
Shannon,
We're gonna go ahead
the only reason I'm laughing is because you said it's really hot, like 80. Talk about really hot, it's 100 here. Can you imagine? 100 with high humidity. Yeah, 100 with high humidity. So I'm going to put the cumin in. I'm doing the cumin as much as you like. It's kind of not coming out right. So sometimes I have to pat it to break it up. Oh, there we go. You know what? I may take off this white thing and just do it like a quick sprinkle like this. Move the spoon. Okay. So there we go. Okay. That's that. And let's do the chili powder. I'm not going to do as much as maybe if you like it a little.
Not too much, not too much. Take that same 8 ounce. Get some water in there. So 8 ounces water, no dishes that way. Get that in there.
I kind of have to tap it. It's not wanting to come out. Please.
Get to stir it around with the consistency that you desire. Alright, so I got the consistency.
Let's do this. I just want to make sure I don't put too much. I knew that was going to happen. That's it. I'll just stir it around. Mix it around. Okay. Let's mix these seasonings in.
More cheese, please. That's all how much you want to layer on the top. I'm going to use the rest of this bag. So I used whatever this is, 8 ounces in total.
Well, I was going to drain the grease in my strainer because it looked like a lot, but some of it went down. So get some paper towels and do this. Okay, I'm going to drain it before I put the Worcester sauce and the tomato sauce. Okay? Y'all probably hear my video. I tried to turn it down. Okay. So now, oh my goodness, Donna. Wow. 10 hours. I feel for you. I don't know. My body wouldn't even make it 8 hours. Barely would make it 4 hours. The way I got pain, excruciating pain. Today, I went, well, it was like an orientation. No, I'm not kind of going to get a full-time job, but there's this app. It's called, and this is good for anybody. Let me know if anybody that's on here, if you'd like to try this app, because I got my son to start it yesterday or the other day, and I forgot to give him my my link, or so I can earn money, and y'all earn money as well if you sign up under my link. Now, what it is it's called the app. It's called Shift Smart. SHIFT Smart. SMART. Okay? Now, some people use this and do a lot of shifts to make it their regular job. Well, they can. I mean, it's because the shifts, you can work from, I found some shifts that were only an hour and a half for like $20. Now, that's okay if it's a place near your house. I wouldn't drive like real far for it, but all the way up to like 3-4 hours. Now you can do multiple shifts at the same gas station if it's listed, or at a different gas station. But it's for Circle K. If y'all have a Circle K, but if Shift Smart is in your area and you don't have a Circle K in your area, then they probably do other things. Because right now they're doing orientations for the PepsiCo company or something for stocking at Walmart, stocking the sodas at Walmart, So, hold on, guys. All right, put that tomato sauce in there. So I want it to go. Hold on, guys. Okay, just cooking. He didn't say anything about the temperature on the stove, but you know, I cook my ground beef on medium high, so I put it on medium and just cook it a little while until it gets to your consistency of what you want. Okay? All right. So we put the Worcestershire sauce. Okay, not too much, but not too little either. Just sprinkle it around. Okay? That's it. And you know, you can give this a taste before you put it in your casserole. Oh, I forgot to take out the tater tots. Shoot. Okay. Here they are. Tater tots. Okay? So now, stirring this around. Okay? We put the fill up your 8-ounce can of sauce. Now, if you make a lot of more ground beef, because you're feeding a lot of people and you're using more than one casserole dish, or you're using one casserole dish, but you're making 2-3 pounds, whatever, you know, you can always, if you're going to use 2 cans, which is 16 ounces, you can use a 15-ounce can. The tomato sauce, that's 15 ounces. Yeah, 2 little cans is 16, but 1 big can is 15. So. All right, let me stir that up because I don't want it to be too much. Let it cook to your consistency. And then check it out if you got 2 pounds or more, if you need a second can of tomato sauce. I didn't even use this. Okay. Got some of the seasoning on the... Hold on, guys. I want to see something.
So I got the consistency I want, right? You want it to fry, but you don't want it to be too thick, right?
Okay. All right. He said you don't want to be too runny, but you don't want it to be too thick either. So just, I think you should put it on medium, but you can put it on whatever you want. And just let it cook for a little while. No amount of minutes. Just watch it, stir it occasionally. Okay, it looks like it might be okay. Let me taste the ground beef. Because he used 1 pound, but he said 1 pound to 1.5. And he used 1 can of tomato sauce. So I figured if I use 2, do I need another can of tomato sauce? It don't taste like nothing. It tastes like... It tastes like plain ground beef. Even though I put chili powder and cumin. If you want to add some other seasonings to it, you may. Do what you want. But I just tasted the ground beef and it didn't taste like much. So let's see what happens here. Let me stir all this. I put a little more. Let's try it again. I don't know. I added some more pepper and I'm going to add some more salt too. Okay. So let's try this again. A little better, but it needs something. I don't know. We do it that way. Take this off. Because it was all clumping. All right. Let's go with that. So just put what you think and then taste it. And after you get everything mixed up, the Worcestershire sauce and everything. And then now I can taste it a little more. I just want to add a little more Worcestershire sauce. It's all up to you. Hope it's not too spicy for the chili powder I put in there, but comment below, guys. What other seasonings would you put in there? Give me some ideas. What else would you put in there besides salt and pepper, cumin, chili powder? Or would you not put cumin? Would you not put chili powder? Would you put something totally different? Let me know in the comments. I feel for you, Donna, for working 10 hours. Woo. But anyways, what I was saying about me, there is this app called ShipSmart. And if you want to take on some extra ships at different places, like depending what your app in your area has, they have different stores depending your area and where you live. And sometimes to open certain ships, like for me to get food prep ships at the gas station at this Circle K, which is a pretty big gas station. Some of them are bigger than others, though. But we had to take a food prep orientation, because in the back you do a lot of food prepping. Circle K, if you know that gas station, it puts out like pizza slices. You can buy whole pizzas, sandwiches that you can cook in the microwave, hot sandwiches, hot dogs, the hot dog station, all sorts of stuff. But anyways, so we had to do an orientation on that. So I picked a time in the day that and there was like 4 other people, and the lady went through it and had us, doing things, trying things, and then we walked through the app, and when it said take a picture of whatever, we had to take pictures and upload them on our, we click a picture and then submit it, and we had to do all and learn how to use the labeling machine, to print out labels and stick them on the certain foods and all certain stuff. We had to do that. And it was supposed to be a 2.5-hour shift. It ended up going 3.5 hours to do all the things they needed us to do, but still only got $30. It was $30. $30. So, yeah, like I'm looking at some shifts that were opened up for me once I finished this orientation, and a lot of them were like 12 miles away, 21 miles away, even though it's still San Antonio. And I'm like, and some of the ships were only an hour and a half, 2.5 hours, because right now they were just showing food prep ships, which you just, like it says, food prep breakfast, food prep bins. You food prep the bins, get the bins ready with the stuff in it for the next day or that day or something. And, and all you need is an hour and a half. It doesn't take long to do it. But, like, they would have a gas station that said 20 miles away. And since you're only working an hour and a half, it tells you how much per hour. Like, you may get $12.75 or $13 an hour. And if it's only an hour and a half, you're only going to get that 13 plus half of that. Let me see. $6.50. Like $19 or $20. Okay? So I'm not driving 20 miles for $19, if you know what I mean. So, yeah. Okay. I have regular cheddar cheese. You can use whatever cheese you want to put on this. I've been liking Colby Jack a lot, so I've been using a lot of that. But I have regular. But I also have this much of some white. It's called white cheddar. So I'm going to use that up before it goes bad. It expires May 22nd. But I also have Colby Jack, but I only have this much left. So if I run out of both, I will use cheddar. Okay? So I'm gonna sprinkle some right on top of the tater tots. Okay? Not quite enough, but you know. Sprinkle it on top of the put as much or as little as you like, but sprinkle. You know, you want to use what you have, so you do, like I can't say, oh, I use only cheddar cheese on this, so I have a bunch of other cheeses, but I only use cheddar cheese for this. So I'm almost low on cheddar cheese, so send my husband out to go get me some more cheese. No, I'm going to use a mixture of what I have. And like if I ran out of stuff and all I had was Fiesta cheese or the Mexican cheese, I would just use that. Though I usually, since it's Mexican cheese, I usually use that for tacos and Mexican dishes and stuff. But okay, so that's all done. I'm going to try to spread it, and then I'm just going to use cheddar cheese for the top when I put some more on the top of everything once I'm done. Okay? So this, I'll just spread what I can. Okay? Alrighty. I'm trying to think, do I need any more on here? I may sprinkle a little bit more, yeah. So here, let me stir this. Okay. So I think that's good enough. Okay. Oh, man. I forgot. And I'm going to do it now. I was going to put onion powder and garlic powder on my ground beef. What would y'all put on the ground beef? Besides salt and pepper, cumin, chili powder, or would you take any of those away? Or I could do Tony Satura's the no salt one I have. But nah. I'm going to just put some garlic powder and onion powder. I was trying to think what I wanted to use or what would go. Because, there's certain recipes that are only good with certain. Like when I put lemon pepper on ground beef, well, I don't know if anybody does, but okay, let's taste this. Okay, it tastes a lot better with the onion powder and garlic powder. Okay, now let me get the other cheese. Oh, I thought I was almost out of cheddar cheese because this bag only has this much in there. But I found another whole bag. And if I'm buying Colby, usually I buy a big bag of cheddar cheese, like the one that probably costs like $8. But I've been buying the medium-sized one, not the small one, the medium-sized one, because I've been buying Colby Jack too. If I'm going to buy both, then I'm not going to buy as big of a bag, Or I might buy a medium-sized cheddar cheese and then a large Colby Jack because I like that more. I don't know, but that's enough. Just a tad bit more. All right, that's it. Okay, that's it. Now that this is done, okay, you want to dump it over the top. He just dumps it in one spot and then spreads it, but I like to put some in every spot because I don't want. Okay, and then once this goes in the oven, I'll put some water in there in the big pan so it can start soaking. So after dinner when we wash dishes. Okay. All right, because it was spread out pretty thin for him with the 1 pound or 1.5. But I don't like things like spread across the top real thin. I like it thick enough to cover the layer under it. You know, that's just how I am. That's just how I am. Okay, so that's good. Okay, that's good. Okay, now we're gonna put some more cheese on top. And it looks like this cheese is thinner. I mean, shredded because it's HEB. It's my grocery store HEB. So this is shredded real thin. The other cheese is a Walmart cheese, so it's gonna be thicker. See, it does real thin, but this is Walmart, as you see, good rate value, and it's a lot thicker. So. Well, not too thick, actually. It says finely shredded. No, actually, I like finely shredded. I don't like the real thick one. Now, the other cheese that I shredded by hand one time that I have left is mozzarella. I did mozzarella and white cheddar that day. So, I didn't write the expiration date on the mozzarella. I wish I would have, but it's probably around the same date as the other cheese because I bought them at the same time. So I want to use up that mozzarella before the end of the month or by the end of the month. Some of it's starting to melt already because this ground beef is so hot and the tater tots were hot. So some of that was okay. You can put a very thin layer of cheese or you can put as much as you like. So I shop next week, so I got to start my list. I already got to get it started, put what I need. Like, I need some more Colby Jack. I need some more. I'm going to probably need some more. There's about half a bag of this left, so I'll probably need some more cheddar, you know. So. And I'm going to start. It's on 450. I just left it there. Because that's what the tater tots were on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down to 400. Okay. Bring it down to 400 and then, I'll talk to you guys. You have a good night too, Donna. Look at how my hand looks when I put it up close. You see that? Weird. But it looks normal when it's back, but when it gets up close. But anyways, you have a good night as well. And I'll talk to you later, Donna. Have a good night. So, what have you been up to, Shannon? I mean, it's about 100 today, so yeah. Let me see, I'm trying to see if this is hot. No, I can hold it with my hand. I was just checking because it came out the oven for the tater tots. So let's get this in here. Okay, I am going to do 10 minutes and check and see how melted the cheese is and what it looks like and everything, okay? All right, so I'm going to turn on the hot water. I'm just going to get this water hot. And I want to just wipe some of this stove down because it's got a bunch of seasoning that when I was shaking it, it shook everywhere. So I want to get it all, wipe it with a wet rag, and it dries up pretty quick because the oven goes. So for some reason, it's fine with white stoves, but I noticed with black stoves, if you let it dry on its own without using like a dry paper towel to dry it, it will look smeary or it'll look weird, but it'll look like straight. So I always dry it with, paper towel. Now I'm just going to fill this up, this pan I use, so it can soak some of that red sauce and, soak out. So when I'm ready to wash after I eat, it'll already be softened. It's easier to clean. Okay. Oh, the spoon's in here. I just rinsed the spoon because I'm going to use it again anyway. To scoop out the stuff out the, Okay. Just wipe the edges. Okay. Let me see what's in the, I'm going to scooch all over a minute. I did. So I can open the dishwasher. Okay. Is this washed? I guess it was. Yeah. So what I'm going to do. Hold on. All right. I'm going to wash a few dishes. Hold on. The water wasn't going down, so I need to put on. Yeah. So you heard what I said about the Shift Smart. Anybody can do it, and I think I like that because I did the 3-hour orientation or whatever it was. Oh, it feels like something in my throat because I wasn't going to be able to see any more shifts if I didn't do the orientation. Now, all these shifts were for Circle K, our gas station. I don't know if y'all have heard of Circle K. I don't know where it is around in there in Virginia, Shannon, if you have any. There was a Valero, I think. I think they had Valeros, but they were like more down. Like you didn't see a Valero until you got to like Stafford County. Not in like Woodbridge or anywhere, but anyways, but it'll have some work shifts according to where you live. So there's no worry about that. But what it is it can have an hour and a half to 2 hours to 3 hours up to 4 hours. You can do multiple shifts in a day. If you schedule it right. You can do some a couple times a week, whenever you want. You can do it every day, all the time. If you need a lot of money or need money. I mean, if you did like 2 shifts a day and you did it like a normal job, like enough to make almost 8 hours, like an hour and a half to 2 hours is almost $20, $25. So if you did 2-hour shifts and you did 4 of them to make 8 hours, and they're about $25. Let's say it was $25. 25. That's 4 shifts, 25. That's $100. Or even $80 if it's only $20 per shift, you know. And that's okay if you're picking up a shift at a place that's real close to your house. So you got to look at how many hours, what are they paying you, and how far do you got to go? Because if you've got to go drive 20 miles to make that $20 or $25, and then you got to put some of that money back in gas, well, where's your purpose, right? But there's Circle K's all over the place. But they don't all always have shifts open. Okay? They didn't have too many open when I was looking after my orientation. They had some. They had about 10, 11, but most of them were saying 12 miles, 20 miles. I'm not driving 20 miles to do 2 or 3 hours for $20. Yeah, it was $20. I'm not driving 20 miles for $20. You know, if we have a Circle K that's right at the end of our street, and we have one that's on the other street connected to our street, right down on there. That's probably about a mile. So we have 2 Circle K's. If they end up, I think they had a shift. I think I saw it when I was leaving my orientation. The shifts popped up on the app when I was looking at it, and it said on Evers Road, which is right down where I live, you know, connected to the road I live on. And our road up to Evers Road is about 7 blocks. So, but it said confirm quickly or something because it was about to go, but you know, it went away before I was able to see. But that was like a shift that was like, what do I say? I think it started at 4:30 in the morning. And went to 6, which was an hour and a half. And it was just prepping breakfast food in the bin. Like you prep the food, and some of the food you wrap the sandwiches, like, you know, the sandwiches you got to wrap in the, you got to wrap up and whatever we learned today is what we would be doing. And then you could do a prep for breakfast, lunch, or snack. It would be lunch and snack. You know, so if you ever go into a gas station and you see they have a cold bit, they have a cold place where they put the cold sandwiches like sausage, egg, biscuits, or muffins or whatever. They put them, and after you buy them, you know, you go and if you're eating it right away, you go and put it in the microwave for however long the label says, in their microwave. But then they also do have some of the same sandwiches in the hot thing. Like if you look there's a place where there's hot sandwiches. I don't know why the same sandwiches, like let's say sausage, egg, biscuit, for example. They have some in the hot section and the cold section where you got to heat up your sandwich. I don't know why. Maybe somebody wants to buy a cold sandwich and they don't want to eat it right away. They might not eat it for a few hours or something, I guess. I'm guessing that's why, but yeah. So, and then for lunch, if you're doing the lunch prep, because you prep for the next day. When you come in, everything should already be prepped for that day. But anyways, so if you're prepping lunch, they have like chicken sandwiches, a spicy and a regular. They got chicken bites, almost like chicken nuggets, but chicken bites. And sometimes they got barbacoa. Oh, they got tacos too, like barbacoa, meat only tacos. They've got chicken fajita tacos, you know, and different stuff like that. And they also got then there's the snack portion, which is like the pretzels. Forgot what the other snacks were, but they got like a lot of snacks too. So you know how a gas station is. The ones that don't have all right, so that's done. I got to get it out. You know how those gas stations are, not the ones that have a machine where you could get food. They still have sandwiches in the cold and hot boxes though too. But you know, and we also have a hot dog station, you know, the roller things where the hot dogs are, and a, a little place where the pizzas are. Like the single slice pizzas, you open a little door and put it in a little pizza box and then you buy it. And you can order, you can let them know you want a whole pizza, you know, and they'll have to cook it because we don't like cook whole pizzas and leave them. If we cook a whole pizza, it's for cutting it in slices to put out there. But, you know, so stuff like that. But I'm not too sure because it was not hard, but I'm afraid of how to do it by myself. So okay, I was just looking at a text that came in. Because they our office for the apartments will text us if your car is parked. It'll say, what does it say? Move the Chevy Impala from reserve parking immediately, or your car will be towed. Temporary license plate number, and then it has it. That must mean it must be their new car they just got. But they send it out to all the residents about if this is your car or, you know, like your guest car, get them to move it because there's reserved spots, and the reserved spots people pay for. If you want to pay for it, it's $10.99, and we didn't at first, but then that same day we went back to the office like, yeah, we chose to. So we've got a reserved spot, and people like to park in there a lot. But we just park our car somewhere else and wait for them to move, even though we're mad. But if they send out a whole thing to all the residents, that means somebody went to the office and complained. And they wrote down the license plate number. Like we could write down the license plate number and go to the office and complain. But usually when my husband comes home at 5 o'clock in the morning, if there's a car there, we can't go complain. The office is not open. So, yeah. All right. So enough of my rambling on. Let me get this out. Let me check it. Oh, I gotta be careful. Hot steam. And it's a little browned on top. So that's how I like it. And I'll show you what it looks like when I scoop some out. Okay, so I'm going to take a picture of that. Then I'll scoop some out into a bowl. And I'm going to look at the end of the video, but I'm telling you, it looked like he squirted all around on his plate where he had his piece with ranch dressing. It surely did. And that did not look good to me. Let me check. Let me see. Oh, it's sour cream. The container looked like a ranch container. But he said sour cream. The way he does it, he goes, oh my gosh, you really got to try that. It's so good. And there's another lady I watch. When something's really good, she goes, mmm. She pounds her hand on the counter. But yes, he used sour cream. It was a thicker bottle. I guess he got something different. It didn't look like, because he squeezed it like a, he did. I don't think it was this. Because it looked like a thicker bottle, but I don't know. But yes, I got to, you know what I did one time? I don't know if anybody's ever tried this. When this runs out, which it almost is, there's some right here down here. I opened it, and I scooped some sour cream from the container in here, a little at a time, and I kind of pushed it down and filled it up again. It took a while, yes, but that's what I did. But anyways, let's do this. Oh, I forgot to put the Worcestershire sauce away. Okay. So, on Monday, I forgot what it is I'm making, but it's written on my, my clipboard with papers. For Monday was supposed to be a crock pot, and then Thursday was supposed to be another chicken recipe because I wrote 2 chicken recipes in a row. Because actually Monday was supposed to be ground beef, but I think it was Monday is supposed to be ground beef. And Thursdays were chicken. But for some reason this Thursday ended up with, Monday ended up with chicken, and it doesn't matter. Either way. But, yeah, Monday was supposed to be a crock pot chicken, but I'm switching it with next Thursday's meal because I want to do the crock pot on a day my husband doesn't work. So instead of getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning or starting the crock pot at 8 o'clock, and not having the chance to have people on because it's so early in the morning, I can start the crock pot at 12 or 1 or something like that. Okay? All right. So let me get a picture. Okay, if you did not see it, I showed it, but if you did not see it too well, there it is. Okay, I don't know how good you can see that, YouTube. All right, anybody else come on here? Or is it still just you, Shannon? Just you, Shannon. Okay. So let me scoop it out, and I'll show you what it looks like from the inside. Let's scoop. So it came out in like a perfect square. And I was going to do the whole row from this end to this end, not the long way, the shorter way across. Then I was like, oh, that'll be too much, so let me just do half of it. Then I looked and I was like, oh, it's not enough for my husband. Oops, I dropped some. Okay. Brownie, look. Anyways, that's what it looks like. All right, can you see the tater tots? Like, here's a tater tot, part of it. Okay, now I'm gonna put the sour cream on it, and then I'm gonna take another. I'm trying to squeeze it down. Then I'm gonna take another picture. Now, if I don't have this, I just use the sour cream from the container, which I might have to for mine, but I wish they had a bigger one of this. We love sour cream. Like if something called for $1 of sour cream in the middle, I'd be putting $3 or $4. Shoot. Okay, that about empty. But let me show you. See what it looks like with sour cream? Just squeeze it across or put a couple of dollops if you only have the container. So I'm going to take a picture of this one real quick. Then I'll make the other. Okay, if you didn't see it too well, there it is. There it is. Okay. All right. So let's make the second bowl. Okay. So what I'm going to do, since that's gone and I don't feel like wasting my time refilling it later, I'm going to, it's really, okay. Got it? So, spoon in that one. Just use my spoon, the one I'm going to eat with. But I haven't touched the spoon yet. Okay, so just put a couple of dollops since the other thing is gone. Okay. Okay, let me put the sour cream away. Okay, so now that's done. See? Put some, because I like sour cream. All right, let's taste this. Okay? Wish y'all could taste it. Take a bite. YouTube? All right, let's try this. Some sour cream on there. Mmm. Mmm. That is excellent. Let's do the excellent dance. Woo. I know I can't dance, but I do a little dance when it tastes good. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. That tastes really good. Oh, let me turn the oven off. Okay. So that's really good. And, it's just about 20 minutes, 20 to 25, depending what your bag says on the tater tots. Just put the temperature to whatever the bag says, which is 400, 450. And about 20 to 25 minutes, Always cook your stuff on the lowest time it says and then check it. And then add that extra time if need be. Then once you take it out, sprinkle it with some cheese, Colby Jack. I use Colby Jack. He used Colby Jack. I use some shredded cheddar. But sprinkle it on top of the tater tots. And then when you're done putting the ground beef together, cooking the ground beef with some minced onion. If you don't like onion, don't add it. The Worcestershire sauce, the tomato sauce, and then fill that can up with water. And then your seasonings, your cumin and your chili powder, or whatever else you want to use, or whatever you don't want to use, don't use. And then stir it up. Let it cook. Don't let it get too thick, but don't leave it too runny. And then once it's done, pour it over the tater tots with the cheese on top and spread it out, or pour some in different spots. Get it all nicely spread out, and then put some more cheese on top of the ground beef mixture and put it in the oven for about 10 minutes. You can leave it on the 400 or 450. Mine was set to 450, but I brought it down to 400 just because. But it still browned my cheese a little bit, and I like when cheese is lightly browned. Not all over, but in different spots. It's good. So, yeah. But, besides waiting for the tater tots to cook, it doesn't really take that long to make this. So, tater tots about 20 minutes. The ground beef probably 10, 15 minutes if you add in after you put all the stuff in and let it thicken up. Let's see. About 15, 35, and then in the oven. Yeah, about 45 minutes it could take. That's just basically with the tater tots. You can be cooking the ground beef while the tater tots are cooking, so that'll reduce time. Instead of adding another like 15, 20 minutes on for the ground beef stuff, you could just be cooking the ground beef while the tater tots are going, But anyways, I'm going to end this the way I ended all my lives. I appreciate everybody who came on, Shannon, Donna, and I appreciate anybody who will watch the replay later on. Okay? Appreciate it. You just came on? Yeah, I'm ending it now. But I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate the ones who watch the replay just as much. Please share this. If anybody watches this and you shared my live from this past Monday or Tuesday, since I cooked on Tuesday, and you shared part 1, can you please share part 2? Because there's 2 parts. I know there was one person who shared part 1, but I'm asking, if you shared part 1, please share part 2. And if you didn't share any one, could you share on both? And today, just share this. Please share. The more people that see that, maybe I'll get more followers, more people to know who I am. All right? I appreciate it. Okay, guys? I really do appreciate it. All right? And the Cash App. Oh, I forgot to put the Cash App. I really did. Okay, there's the Cash App. I'm going to pin the Cash App. You can read the star comment in the comments if you want to. All right, so I pinned the Cash App. The Amazon wish list, I'll put it on the next video because I forgot that too, but it's okay. But yeah, if you'd like to donate to the Cash App, it's greatly appreciated. It's used for food or anything else that I may need to get to help my lives be better. It's going towards all my content. And I say food too because I buy food, to cook for you guys. But, there are some people that cook every day. There are some people that cook 3 or 4 times a week. I used to do it every other day. But I don't know how in the world I bought food on $300 cooking every other day, which meant some weeks were 3 days, some weeks were 4 days, depending. If it was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that's 3 days. And then another week would be Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. That's 4 days. So every other week would be 4 days, and every other week would be 3 days. And how I bought all that, I bought it on $300, and I tried to make it last for a month, which would be more meal. I don't know how I did it then when I can't even do it now. I don't know. But I did it. But then when things got tough, I had to go down to 2 days a week. Now I don't mind doing like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 3 days a week. Once I start making more money, but for now it's 2 days a week, and you know it's something. But yeah, I'll use it towards food, cook for you guys. Like I'm looking for a holder that will hold my iPad on the counter, so I can put it like at the back of the counter, and y'all can see me, my face, and my food better. If you know what I mean. Because like the guy who did this recipe that I just made, his name is Russ Lee, if you want to look him up. But so if you look up the recipe, look up chili cheese tater tot casserole. Now it might pop up because I edited my post and I put the title. I typed in the title. You know when I reshare something and they let you write something if you want. Yeah, I wrote the title so it'll pop up for people easier. But if you can't find it, put in Russ Lee, Russl, and then his last name, Lee. And then look what you'll see in the video. Right at the beginning of the video, he'll be holding a bag of tater tots, okay? Because he has another recipe for tater tots, but he doesn't use the tater tots till the end. But he's using the tater tots right at the beginning because he's putting it in his casserole dish. So you'll see it. He'll be holding a bag of tater tots. And right now it's at the top of the Facebook Cooks group. Facebook Cooks group. If you're not joined that, come join it. You can share recipes in there. Look up recipes that I have made, posted. Just look. If you just want something with chicken, just put in chicken and recipes will pop up that have been shared with chicken or crock pot or whatever. But yeah, but the title might pop up since I typed it in, which with his videos, he doesn't tell you the name of the recipe until almost the end of his video. So once I hear that, then once I share it, I'll put it in at the top so it'll come up more easier in the search box, okay? But, and I'll let you know the name of the thing I shared in case it doesn't pop up by the title, okay? But his name is Russ Lee. You can look him up on Facebook and follow him. He's very good. He does every Wednesday, I think he does a live. But he is really cool. But, yeah. But anyways, yeah, I appreciate y'all for watching and replaying. Stay positive. Do the best that you can. Do what you do. And don't worry about what other people say. Just keep going. I love you guys. Thank you, Shannon, for sharing. I thank you very much. And if you're watching the replay, if you ever watch any replays, because you didn't catch the original, you can also share that, okay? It doesn't just have to be the live. It could be the replay as well. But anyway, stay positive. I love you guys. On YouTube, everything I'm saying applies to you. But except for the share, I don't know. I don't think you can share it on YouTube. But you may be able to click share and like share it to somebody on Messenger or share it to your Facebook page if you have one. Because I've shared things from YouTube to Facebook, so you may be able to do that as well. So try that, and I want y'all to have a good rest of your evening. And tomorrow is Friday. We're about to hit the weekend. So be ready for that and have a great weekend. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, YouTube.